Talent Hunt one more time. It's a beautiful Monday evening, and tonight we are in UK. Yes, you heard me right. We are in UK, and our special guest of tonight is Jonathan. Hey Jonathan, welcome to Talent Hunt, and I'm really excited to have you in my show. How is everything and how you're feeling?
Thank you, Ragini. I am Jonathan Mayer, sitar and sitarist and composer based in London in the UK. And I'm really excited to be on here on TV5 and Manatv International. Yes.
So this time is really, we all are feeling a little different, don't you think so? Because we all are trying to keep ourselves healthy and safe, and we're all home. So what you are doing, and how is UK during this lockdown session?
So lockdown, new things I've done. Well, with 3 kids, a lot of homeschooling, a lot of practice, a lot of composition. It's actually been a good time for me to create. So I've enjoyed being around the house, creating compositions, writing, and going through old material that I had, old exercises, things like that, and old compositions, revisiting all of that, old lessons which I'd recorded way back on cassette tapes and everything. So it's been very good for that. So lockdown in the UK, it's been pretty severe here. Cases have been very high. And the lockdown has meant that the art sector has really suffered. I think theatres are just about beginning to open up, but the only way they're opening up is by doing showings of maybe a theatre production on a TV, like a cinema. There are no live productions. Live concerts are still not allowed. And so, yeah, everyone's really suffering here. It's been pretty bad. Luckily, I've been safe and my family's been okay. We've literally just stayed in the house all the time.
You play sitar, so we want to know that why sitar, and who was your guru and how you started.
So why the sitar? I've always been fascinated by the sound of it, and I got into a recording of my father's that he did in 1976 called Dhammapada, which you can find on Spotify or iTunes, whatever. And I heard a sitar solo in that, and I thought, wow, this is the instrument I want to play. So yeah, we had some family friends coming over from Kolkata. I said, could you pick me up a sitar, please? Which is my first one ever. This one here, and yes, I started learning under Clem Alford. Sitar, I think the first thing you were going to think about, that when you first start playing the sitar, it's painful. It cuts into your fingers. It's quite tough. So you've got to get through that. And it's a very technically demanding instrument. I'm not saying everyone says, oh, sitar's so hard. You try playing the oboe, I'm sure that's just as hard. But it's technically demanding. So you have to put a lot of hours into it and make sure your technique's correct. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of riyaz, 5-6 hours a day. Sometimes difficult with 3 children, but anyway, try to get as much as possible. So my motivation, my guru, and when I started, I guess my first guru would be my father, the composer John Mayer. And I started violin and piano when I was 5 years old. From there, up until about 10 or 11, I was doing violin and piano. I learned violin from my grandfather, who was also a musician. And then I decided that I'd had enough. I didn't want anything to do with music, mainly because my parents were both musicians. My mother is as well. And then when I got to the age of 12, 13, I decided I want to find my own way and get back into it. So I got myself a keyboard, and then I started listening to my father's music. So my father did the Indo-Jazz fusions in the 1960s. He was born in Kolkata and came over here into the UK in 1952. And so I was always sort of brought up with the sound of Indian music because he incorporates a lot of that in his music. I then got into, decided I was going to start learning. Picked up my first sitar from Kolkata, and my first guru on the sitar was a chap called Clem Alford. He's a Scottish guy, but a great sitar player. I then went to Wajahat Khan, really to get the different perspective on the different gharana, a different style of playing. And then I settled down with Shubhuto Roy Chowdhury, Pandit Shubhuto Roy Chowdhury, so Senya Maya gharana, and I did a lot of extensive study with him. Yes, so my main guru, I would say, is my father and Pandit Shubhuto Roy Chowdhury.
Why don't you play something for my viewers? That will be really wonderful.
So, you're gonna hear some music, one of the rags that I've played called Bhupeshwari, which is quite a new rag. It's actually just basically like a rag called Bhupali, with 5 notes up, 5 notes down. But the only difference is that one of the notes in this is changed, which is dha. So in the West, we call it a pentatonic, which means just 5 notes up, 5 notes down. Beautiful rag. So I hope you enjoy it.
You are a sitarist, and we want to know that your favorite musician, who are they and why they are really interesting to you?
So, favorite musicians? That's a tricky question because sitarist, sometimes, most of the time, Nikhil Banerjee. Sometimes Krishna Bhatt, Balram Pathak as well. So I like people who play slightly differently, if that's possible. Balram Pathak did. He used this idea of harmonics, which is lightly touching the string and getting a really high sort of different sound. And he used to retune the sitar as well to give a different idea of where sa, most important note in Indian music, where that might actually be. And that's really interesting. But then in Western classical music, Yasha Heifetz, the fantastic violinist, he was great. Pianist Shura Cherkassky, who was last the romantic pianist. So yeah, it varies really. I listen to a lot of different music.
What are the new things that you're doing? My friends, I need to tell you guys that he is a fantastic sitarist, and after this answer, I want him to play something for you guys.
So for the future, I have quite a few things in the pipeline. Firstly, I did a recording with BBC Orchestra of my second sitar concerto. It's being edited at the moment, and hopefully it should be released later this year on my record label, First Hand Records Limited, which I own. And that's a CD with my second sitar concerto for full orchestra, a piece called Pranam, which is written for sitar tabla and full orchestra, which is based on Kathak compositions, Kathak dance. Then there's 2 works of my father on there as well. So then I have another project in the pipeline, which is called Raga Music for Solo Western Instruments. So I've got the idea of going through the instruments of the orchestra and writing a piece for them. So the first one I'm doing is Rag Lalit for flute. So a Western flute player cannot play Indian music. Number one, they don't generally improvise as much as we do in Indian music, and also it's the phrasing. And also, if you're with a tabla player, which this will be, you've got to be able to play within that time cycle. But if you wrote everything out for them, then it could be a possibility. So that's the idea, to do a full performance of writing it out, and hopefully they'll be able to play that. So just waiting for, hopefully, some funding to come in for that. So lots of compositions and lots of live performances next year, unfortunately. This year has just been completely wiped clean. So I'd like to play for you Rag Bhupeshwari, which is a relatively new rag, at about 100 years old. And this is one of the rags I did for a series of recordings I've done on YouTube called the Take 5 series. And literally 5 minutes of playing a rag just during lockdown to help people relax. So Bhupeshwari. So the next rag I'd like to play for you is called Rag Kamach, which is quite a light rag. And this is a fast composition in Tintal, which is 16 beats. Okay, so before I play the last rag, let me just explain a little bit about what a rag is. A rag is almost like a bit more than a scale. So you'd have a series of notes that we improvise on, but each rag has its own rasa. Rasa means mood. So the first one you heard, Bubashwari, was quite romantic. Kamach was quite light, enjoyable. This next one's called Marwa, which is very deep. So each one is supposed to be played at a certain time of day as well. Marwa is a night rag. So each one has its own mood. The bit about the sitar, this sitar has 20 strings on it. I've got 7 strings on top, and then 13 strings that run underneath. But with my left hand, if you've been watching, I only really play on the one string. This string here, going up and down. There's a big gap here, which means I can actually pull the string as well, which is quite important in Indian music. So, Rag Marwa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jonathan, for being there with us, because it's really lovely that you shared your special moments with us. And when we heard about your father, that he was in India and he was here, and you learned from him as well. That is quite like exciting for all of us. Thanks for sharing all the stories that you have shared. And we really want to wish you, me and my Manatv International team, we want to wish you all the best for your upcoming endeavors. And it is really, really, really fascinating hear your story. We were going to finish with your playing, of course, but for my beautiful viewers, I want to say that next Monday, do not miss to catch your favorite show, Talent Hunt, only on Manatv International. But in the meantime, please stay safe, stay well. Don't go out much if you don't need. But yes, keep watching Talent Hunt, because we are really eager to meet you every week. And it's our pleasure that you are always around us. Good night.
So thank you, Ragini. Thank you. And thank you to everyone. Thank you to all the viewers who are listening and watching. Yes, it's been an absolute pleasure to share my thoughts and what's happening now in lockdown and everything else. So please, everyone, take care. Thank you. Bye.